Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, and today I'm going to give you a little bit of a wrap up of things that I read in September. I actually have a reading vlog where Ashley over at BookishRealm chose my TBR for September. Honestly, it was a real pleasure and a privilege for me to see what she chose and read those books. And so I won't really be fully talking about them. I'll just give a little brief summary of my feelings about it. But if you want to hear all of my thoughts about those particular books, you can check out my vlog where I read all those books. The first book that Ashley chose for me was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. In Legends and Lattes, we have Viv, who is opening up a coffee shop. She's putting down the sword and she's picking up the beans. And it's just a fun little slice of life story, cozy fantasy, where she's opening up this coffee shop in a place where nobody's ever heard of coffee, and the antics that ensue, the friendships that blossom from this adventure that Viv is on. And it was just such a fun time. It was light and fluffy and exactly what I needed to usher me into the fall season. And so I gave that 4 stars. And then the next thing that I read was Blackbirds in the Sky by Brandy Colbert, and that is about the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. It's a YA nonfiction about it with eyewitness accounts from people that were there at the time, from people who had left letters and articles about the account, what led up to that particular incident happening. I thought it was very fascinating. I had a very, I don't want to say a good time, but I was very into it and intrigued and interested in everything that I was reading about. And then it also made me think about some of the things that are happening currently and how it's related to the social climate, the racial tension that was happening and present in 1921 and is still happening here. I gave that 4 stars. I also read Thick by Tressie McMillan Cottom. That is a collection of essays about just being a Black woman existing in America and Tressie's own personal experiences being a Black woman existing in America, not only just existing as a person, but as an academic, as a professional, as a friend, as a partner. And I thought the collection of essays was very poignant. It was very timely, and it made me think of things that are happening in my own personal life amongst me, amongst my friends, family members. It made me think about like relationships within the community. I tabbed it up all up and down that book, which very rarely happens. Maybe because I don't read nonfiction as often as I would want to, and so I don't tab up things as often, but nonetheless, I had a very good time with that. And then on the flip side, not really a flip side, but maybe like on the same side of the coin, I read Bad Fat Black Girl by Cecily Bowen. And again, a very good time where we have a collection of essays from a queer Black woman, which talks about her experiences growing up in the hood, then going into higher education, and then into her professional life and what that sort of looked like being somebody who started from the bottom, now she's here. I thought that was a great book to read in tandem with Thick. There were many similarities between the two. Again, like I said, same side of the coin, just a little different on experiences. Obviously, they are 2 different people. You're going to have 2 different experiences, but again, very similar. And then the last book I read that Ashley chose for me was The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I gave that 2.75 stars because it wasn't quite terrible to the point where I needed to DNF it. Clearly, I finished it, but it was bad. It was bad. I have a whole rant in that video, and I just want to say there was a lot of inheritance, not a lot of games, and will not be continuing the series. In fact, I tried to go find a summary of the other books in this series just because I needed some answers that I didn't get in the first book, and I quit the summary. There's that. So those are the things that I read that Ashley chose for me for September, but then I read some other things myself, and I will tell you about them now. My monthly buddy read with Ray was Murder and Mammon by Mia P. Manansala, and I generally do not like the main character of this series, but I like the overall plot. I think it gives me very Lifetime, but like fluffy Lifetime, you know what I mean? Like it's not like super serious. I mean, people, there is stabby and murder, but you know, it's more Murder She Wrote, less Lifetime Prime movie, you know what I mean? And so I continue on with the series because I like the stories. I like to see what murderous mystery we're going to solve this time. But something about this book felt a little different, and I don't know if it's because I didn't listen to it on audio this time and instead I read it, but I didn't like it considerably more than the other books in this series. I think the other books I've given no higher than a 3.5, a 3 to a 3.5. This one was, the mystery itself was not even that great, and all of the characters seemed very annoying. Like, Leela is always annoying to me since the first book, the very first book, and I was just like, mm. But every other single character was annoying. And I don't know if it was because this was supposed to be a trilogy and now we're continuing on or what, but the characters just did not feel like themselves. Leela was extra annoying this time around, and I couldn't get into it. So I think I ended up giving that a 2.5. Like, unfortunate for me. Will I read the next one? Yes, probably. Ray and I will probably read it together, but will we be reading it on audio? Yes, because maybe they will seem a little less annoying on audio than when I read them on the page. We'll see, we'll find out. I randomly decided to pick up Counting the Cost by Jill Duggar. I didn't read it because it's a personal memoir, but I went into this being nosy, just full transparency. I didn't go in hoping to have like super empathy for her or whatever. Not that I don't, I just was here for the nosiness. I wanted to know the nitty gritty. And did I get that? No. Did we get some of the backstory about the things that her dad did to her leading up to this kind of expose of her family? Yes, and that man is trash. He belongs in hell with his brother and many of the other people in that organization. I forget the name of the family religion that they follow, but it needs to go to hell too. And her brother double needs to go to hell, like full on, not just for things that he did to his sisters and other women, but like children. So yeah, all of that. And you know, I think that she was very open, or as open as she can be at this time. And so while I was looking for salacious details, because nosy, I think that she opened up as best as she could about a situation, especially when she's still grappling with a relationship with her father. Her mom didn't do a whole lot, but again, I wouldn't expect her mother to do a lot in this situation, because women are like first in line before the kids, but also like seen, not heard. You have no opinion, you have no authority, so what was she gonna do? Then I read Monster Volume 1 by Naoki Urasawa. I had a very good time with this. I gave it 3.75 stars. I think I didn't give it like 4 because it just didn't, there was something that I was wanting from it. I can't put my finger on it. We're following a doctor who has a promising career ahead of him, and he just decides to make a kind of life-altering decision based on his morals and what he values in life. And because of this decision, he ends up saving the lives of a boy who was shot and his twin sister. Now, right after saving them, it's very weird. There is a string of murders, and it's pointing to somebody who, I don't know, but I feel like the doctor's about to get caught up in this whole mess. There's an investigator, and he's just like, that doctor seems suspicious. But did the doctor do it? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he didn't. But now the doctor is like, I'm gonna investigate this. I need to know who is responsible for these murders, because it's not me. Or is it me? You know what I mean? It's an interesting story where we're following the doctor trying to figure this out, and also this investigator trying to figure it out. I think that there was just an element of suspense that was not there for me. And like, while I was reading it, enjoying it, it just, it wasn't like the full 100% suspense. It was like a smooth 70%. I will be continuing on. I'm gonna read volume 2. Shout out to Bree, who sent me volumes 1 and 2 so that I could like give it a try before I decided to like, you know, get the other volumes. And so I will be continuing on to volume 2, hopefully in October. Wow, there's so many sounds right now. And then last but not least was a buddy read that I did with Ashley and Alana. We read The Diviners by Libra Bray. This is me and Alana's first time reading it. I think Ashley's second or third time reading it. So we were buddy reading this, and let me tell you, I had a fantastic time. It was way darker and spookier than I anticipated it to be, and I didn't know what to expect. We have Evie. She lives in Ohio, I think, in the 1920s, and she's just too big for her Ohio town. And so her parents ship her off to stay with her uncle in New York City, and Evie thinks she's about to have the time of her life, but little does anyone except Evie know that she has a little secret supernatural power. She can actually see the past. I don't know how she got this ability. I don't know where it came from, but she has this ability, and so she is staying with her uncle, who kind of studies the occult and supernatural. And so there is, again, a string of murders. Is this the thing? There is a string of murders that start cropping up in the city, and her uncle is called in to investigate, and Evie is able to assist her uncle. But there's a whole cast of characters who have supernatural powers. They are considered the diviners, although I'm still trying to suss out who is a diviner. But anyway, the characters in this, I really came to love. I became attached to one in particular, well, 2 in particular. Memphis, he is a Black kid growing up in New York. He's lost his mother, and so he's kind of taking care of his little brother. And so like Memphis and his little brother, I am attached. I love them, and I don't want to see any harm come to them. But when I tell you, there were some of the creepiest moments in the book, and I was like, I cannot read this at night. There's this song that a serial killer who is doing the string of murders, he sings this creepy ass song about Naughty John. And let me tell you, I could not listen to this at night. I was so freaked out. And then I did listen to it at night, and I did not want to turn out the lights one night, but I did, because I was gonna go to sleep. Wow. I cannot wait to continue on to the next book. I don't remember what it's called, Layer of Dreams, I think, maybe. But we're gonna continue the buddy read. I'm so excited. Me and Alana have like theories going. Ashley obviously knows what happens next because she's read the second book as well. And so I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, that is everything I read in September. I had a very good reading month. I hope you also had a good reading month. And if you did, tell me about it down below. What was your favorite read? Or if you didn't have a good reading month, what was your worst read and why should no one ever read it? Ever. Let me know down below. Let's talk about it. And until next time, bye.